It's Friday, September 20th. It's pretty early in the morning. It's about almost 2 a.m. And I'm going to just do a quick update because I might not be able to make a video for a while and talk about later about a little bit about uranium. So, and where I think things are standing, and we'll see. Alright, let's go on the browser here. It looks like the day has ticked over. As you can see, I'm sitting at 68,900 plus. Interesting things. Oops, I just clicked something. Alright, anyway. So, interesting things to note is that Apple is down $188. Going through the account, it hit as high as like 123.68 earlier in the day, but it has corrected, and I'm okay with that. As far as the options plays in Apple, I initiated a couple of very small option plays. I had a put credit spreads that are going to yield me about like $6 or something tomorrow. But I had some idle cash and I didn't have anything better to put it in, so I decided to initiate this trade here. It's gonna give me like 12 bucks tomorrow, but $12 is better than no dollars. Okay, anyway. Apple, I would like to own more of this company, but it's been so expensive lately, especially after the event, all the hype around all their services and the new iPhone, and how, the iPhone 11 is going to be at a very low price. And I mean, I agree with that. It's going to sell like hotcakes. Although I did look at the phones, and like the 11, I just don't like the aluminum models. I know they do that to bring down the price and everything else, but I don't know. I mean, it's good to differentiate between the two phones, between their more expensive version and a cheaper one, but the cheaper one just looks cheap. um, and it's still a $700 price tag, but I think because of that lower price tag, it's going to be pretty sought after, and I think people are going to eat it up, especially abroad in some of the Asian countries where they're trying to pick up some market share. I think they're going to have some success. But anyway, people are excited about that, obviously, and the price is really high. Not It hasn't had as big as appreciation as some other companies, like Microsoft and Visa and all these other companies since this 2018 bottom. But nevertheless, it's doing pretty well. It's soon going to overtake, I think it's 232 is its record from a year ago, somewhere around there. Yeah, 232, and I think it's gonna do it pretty soon once people kind of realize what the orders look like for the phone, how many they're gonna sell tomorrow or today, and the next few days. Personally, I have ordered mine through a friend, so I got like a 18 or some percent discount. I don't know what it is. And so mine is going to be arriving a little bit late. I got the gold version, pro version, 256. I didn't really need a new phone, honestly, but I kind of wanted a change. I've been rocking the 10. Where's my 10? It's charging right now. So I've been rocking the 10 for a while, and I didn't want to upgrade last year because the phone looked exactly the same as the 10, and even though the hardware was a little bit better, there was nothing. It wouldn't feel like I'm having an upgrade in my hands, right? It would just feel like I had my old phone in my hand, and obviously the hardware pieces upgrade is hardly noticeable in the XS versus the X, and so I didn't want to upgrade. But this time at least it looks a tiny bit visually different, so it's gonna remind me that I have a new phone, and then the performance boost is gonna come with it. I know it's kind of weird, but you probably call it wasting money. But I don't know. Anyway, it's not that important. The important part is that they're making me buy the same phone and pay another grand for buying almost the exact same phone. And there's nothing wrong with my current one. Go figure. So these guys are geniuses. How can you bet against them? All right. Anyway, moving down the list here. What else happened on Thursday? Nothing really on this account. Not too eventful. Chemical dropped $100, and over here you can see that I erased some liability on the options side, $18 worth, $63 so far on these options that are active at the moment. And I did manage to sell yet another put. Well, just another put. I only have 2 put sales at the moment, I think. And it's a $9 one. It's expiring on 10/11, so pretty soon, relatively speaking. All these options expire quite a bit further out. Well, actually not quite a bit. These 2 calls expire pretty soon as well. So anyway, it's a lot of money on the table that I want to collect just for waiting. Chemical is sitting at 927 at the moment. And this is what its weekly chart looks like. Monthly chart, 3-month chart. I've been talking about this rebound for quite a while now, and it looks like the rebound is having a little bit of correction, but I anticipate this to keep going up from here. I think it's going to recover a little bit. I think there's going to be some new sentiment, a positive sentiment coming into the uranium space because it has been a little bit beat up. Excuse me, it's like 2 o'clock. I'm really tired. But I gotta make one. Otherwise, I won't make one for like another 3 or 4 days. So I gotta do a little update. I think there's gonna be some renewed enthusiasm for the uranium space pretty soon. I've been, listening to some podcasts and reading some articles and stuff like that. Like, the sentiment is pretty negative, but it's there's a little bit of rumbles, some voices of reason. Some analysts are coming out and saying things like, there's still hella new reactors being built in Asia, especially like countries like India or China and some other countries around there. So the demand for uranium should be picking up. Currently, the biggest supplier in Asia is Kazakhstan, Kazatomprom. But if they run into supply issues, they're going to have to look abroad. And finally, hopefully at some point, Chemical will have to restart its MacArthur mine, right? The biggest mine there. So we'll see if that happens. I mean, I'm really curious. So far, it seems like uranium is bottoming around $25. But who knows? I do think, though, I've been looking at some uranium charts. Let me see if I can find this one. I've been looking at some uranium charts, and it really looks like it's been bottoming out. Look at this. Oh, that's bright. So it just doesn't want to go any further down than this, Maybe we should try this one here. Let's do full screen. Alright. This is kind of logarithmic a little bit. So one of these things responds to 3 years here, 4 years here, right? 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, and then it goes 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Alright. Now, what I notice here is that before this huge bull run in uranium, I know it's bright, just bear with me a little bit. So before this huge run in uranium here, that's started, kind of in 2000, you would think that this is a big increase right here, right? 4 to 5, 6, 7, it's almost doubled, but look at this run afterwards from 2003 and on. But my point was that it took 4 years, right? It bottomed out here, and it took 4 years for this run to really get started. So if we expand that to modern day, right, the bottom here is 2000 and late 2015. Let's call it well, at 2016, I guess, late 2016, and that was at around, I think, 15, 8, 17, $18, something like that. Yeah, $18. And it's taken, now one, two, and we're running on year three. So if this indeed is the bottom, and a lot of people were saying this is the bottom, I mean, not a lot of people, but people that know what they're talking about in the uranium space. And also, I do remember what the sentiment was back then at late 2016. It was very, very, very negative. So if this indeed is the bottom, then if we take this as proxy, right, then it might take another year for this thing to start running up. And if all the fundamental guys are correct, and even though there's a bunch of supply still out there, all these new reactors are going to need massive amounts of uranium. So even though they're more efficient, they're still going to need more uranium. And so this price should be coming up, right? Supply and demand. And because these markets are pretty stagnant and sentiment's pretty negative, it could potentially catch everybody by surprise and have a really big, maybe not this big, but maybe this big, a spike in the uranium price. Especially since a lot of contracts are supposedly starting to roll over and utilities are going to have to recontract all of their supply, right? And this could theoretically lead to a spike in uranium, and we could be looking at it if some kind of a perfect storm happens in about a year or less. So if you're a uranium fan and you're looking to speculate on the price of uranium, then I guess that could be one timeline that you could look at. But again, this is not financial advice at all, right? You guys got to do your own due diligence and make your own financial decisions. Consult with professionals if you're confused. And I always say anyways that you shouldn't be copying anybody else. If you're copying somebody else, you're losing the opportunity to have an edge in the market, right? To have a unique perspective. So I think it's a really big plus for people to make their own decisions and try to find something that they can excel at and trade around that. Now, anyway, I've been working this chemical neutral trade for quite a while now, for years, literally, and it's been working out really good, really well. Once uranium starts spiking, though, maybe instead of trying to profit from a sideways market, I will at least reserve a small position that I can ride out, absent of selling calls or puts against, and see if I can catch some of that spike in about a year or so. Maybe it will start tomorrow, maybe it'll start in a year, maybe two, I don't know. Right, I'm just trying to look at the past and see if I can learn something from it, and if I can use some of the timing differences. Of course, the variables are different now, and the circumstances are not going to be exactly the same. There's not going to be major floods and major mines like there was back then, and technology is different. Geopolitics is a lot different. Of course, I should probably mention, that commission that was appointed by President Trump, about the 90-day commission about maybe doing something about the local uranium producers, URG, Uranium Energy, and Energy Fuels. So perhaps something will come out of that, and at least the domestic producers will benefit from some kind of legislation or whatever. Just to make it clear, I'm not pro legislation. I just think I'm just trying to make money. All right. Hopefully, all y'all are doing the same. And I think I'm gonna cut it right there. I think that uranium has I still believe that there's an opportunity there. I'm still looking for a spike. I'm really unsure of the timing. Obviously, nobody is. Otherwise, we'd all be millionaires if we knew, right? Or better. So the one thing that I think is really important trying to play this uranium spike is that to sell all of your position early, right? Because you saw that big chart, and if you would have sold when uranium doubled, you could have missed out on like 1,000%, all right, or more. So you could have missed out on 2,000%, because it went from 4 to like 7, and then 140, right? So 1,000% would be 70, 2,000% would be 140, and that's just the price of uranium. Don't even talk about the price of uranium companies, right? So selling too early can be detrimental, to your play, because then you get to wait a long time with not enough reward, and just to double your money. But of course, there is a risk with doing that. If you don't catch it at the top, going down to the bottom is just as steep. So you never know. There's always a risk in everything, right? But at least in the past, the charts, the price action from the past gives you an idea of what is possible, and why it might not be the wise decision to just sell everything or just a little bit of profit and have something that could potentially moonshot. And then I guess you just have to decide how rich you want to be, right? Okay, look, I've been rambling a lot. I'm super tired. I gotta go to bed. And hopefully I'll make a video during the weekend, but maybe not. Probably Monday will be my next time. Alright, hopefully you guys have a great Friday and you make a lot of money today. See y'all all on Monday, probably. Peace out.